Are Men Smarter Than Women? A Battle of the Sexes, Monday at 5.
This is the news leader. Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
A local mother is dead, her daughter in the hospital in a coma after a hit and run. Tonight, the search for the driver who hit the two women, then drove away. Plus, new information and new pictures of the damage in Hawaii after a strong earthquake today. Good evening once again. I'm Jeff Pegues.
And I'm Sandra Bookman. We begin tonight with that deadly hit and run. A family ripped apart by a driver who would not stop after leaving a mother and daughter bleeding on the street. But tonight, police may have some idea who they are looking for. That accident happened along Nostrand Avenue in the Marine Park section of Brooklyn. Eyewitness News reporter Lucy Yang is at the scene with the latest. Lucy?
Well, Sandra, there is a long trail of shattered glass behind me. That's where the car hit the mother and driver. Tonight, the hunt is on to find that cowardly driver. This as a father anxiously waits to learn if he will lose his daughter as well. They were crossing Nostrand Avenue late last night, just steps away from their front door, when an oncoming car made sure they would not reach the safety of their home. Police say this red Hyundai slammed into the victims with such force, the mother, 55-year-old Jane Felsen, died on the street. The daughter, 26-year-old Emily Felsen, was rushed to Kings County Hospital, where she will need a miracle. We're told she has been declared brain dead and is on life support. Neighbors tonight describing the sound of death.
It sounded like two cars hit. And I looked out the window, and there, she was right there, right away.
It was very upsetting to have this in front of your door, that someone could to do such a crime, and just human life is just snuffed out.
The red Hyundai was abandoned a block away. Its windshield smashed, the front airbags deployed. The airbags may have saved the hit-and-run driver, but sadly did nothing for the victims. Meanwhile, the father, police say, had no idea his family had been destroyed until he returned home from work Sunday morning and was asked to ID his wife's body.
They're really nice people. They're quiet. They go about the business. They do the right thing. And I feel very bad about what happened.
It's really hard, you know, when you see this sort of thing happen and they just drive just carelessly runs away. That's bad.
Now, officials say that license plates did not match the red Hyundai, but they have a pretty good idea whom they want to question. It's only a matter of time now catching up to the hit-and-run driver. We're live in Brooklyn tonight. I'm Lucy Yang for Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
Lucy, thanks. There was a terrifying attack on Manhattan's Upper West Side tonight when a man was stabbed in the back by an unknown assailant on a bicycle. Police say the victim and his daughter were walking on West End Avenue between 63rd and 64th Streets at 7:30 tonight. That's when an unknown assailant came up from behind on a bike, stabbed the man in the back, and then fled. The unidentified victim was rushed to Cornell Medical Center in unknown condition. His daughter was unharmed.
Tonight, it appears the search for a missing fisherman is over. Police were called to Rockaway Point Boulevard in Queens around 3:30 this afternoon, where they recovered a body. The medical examiner now says it is the body of 21-year-old Carl Heinzen. Last week, he was knocked over by a wave while fishing with his father. A truck driver is back on solid ground tonight. He spent part of the morning dangling in midair in the cab of his tanker truck. This you have to see to believe. The truck ended up in a position upright with the cabin hanging over the median where the BQE splits. It happened at around 3 a.m. in Williamsburg. Police still don't know what caused the driver to lose control. Crews got him out of the cab and to a hospital where he was treated for minor injuries. And in case you're wondering about the morning commute, all eastbound lanes will be open on the BQE. A state of emergency declared by the governor of Hawaii after a strong earthquake rocked the state's Big Island. The tremor caused a landslide and knocked out power across the state. A major hospital had to be evacuated as a precaution until its structural integrity can be assessed. The 6.6 magnitude quake struck just after 7 this morning, about 10 miles northwest of Kailua Kona. Residents and tourists reported houses shaking and walls collapsing.
You know, you felt the tremor and stuff, and then it started swaying, and we just grabbed what we could and ran down the stairs to get out.
Officials there say power will likely not be restored for hours. So far, there have been no fatalities reported. 3 weeks before the election, and today the candidates for state attorney general battled it out. In their first debate, they squared off here in our studios with a lot on the line. One of the candidates is trying to put a scandal behind her, and the other is defending himself against charges that he is not up to the job. Here's Dave Evans.
With Andrew Cuomo enjoying a double-digit lead in most polls, his goal in our debate was probably just don't make a mistake. His opponent, though, had a different goal, to attack, and often.
You don't understand the criminal justice system, Andrew, and I understand that because as a junior prosecutor for 14 months, more than 21 years ago, you're not expected to.
Jeanine Pirro challenged her opponent's legal experience again and again.
You know, Andrew, your running for Attorney General would be like my running for Joe Torre's position because I played softball 21 years ago.
My opponent is very good at sensationalizing and changing facts to fit the argument.
Andrew Cuomo never lost his cool despite all the badgering, but he couldn't resist hitting back when she questioned his integrity. Cuomo brought up a matter she'd rather forget, an investigation into her considering a wiretap on a husband she suspected of cheating.
There is a candidate who is being accused of criminal wrongdoing and is under investigation by a number of law enforcement agencies and has their ethics questioned. That's not me, however.
The two disagreed on making same-sex marriage legal in New York. They clashed on whether to close Indian Point nuclear power plant, and they bickered over who can best clean up Albany.
Clean up Albany, Andrew? Your reform proposals to clean up Albany are hypocrisy upon hypocrisy.
Our debate was one of only two in the AG's race. Pirro probably needs more exposure and more time to challenge Cuomo, but unfortunately for her, there's only about 3 weeks to go till Election Day, November 7th. On the Upper West Side, Dave Evans, Channel 7 Eyewitness News.
And if you would like to see today's entire debate, or if you want to download a podcast of it, you can always log on to our website at 7online.com. And our coverage of the election continues next week with another live debate, this one for the U.S. Senate race in New York between Democrat Hillary Rodham Clinton and Republican John Spencer. That is next Sunday at 9:00 a.m. right here on Channel 7.
Tonight, a call for a thorough review of New York airspace. Senator Charles Schumer is demanding that the FAA conduct that assessment in the wake of last Wednesday's deadly plane crash into a Manhattan apartment building. Senator Schumer says the crash that killed Yankees pitcher Corey Lytle and his flight instructor underscores gaping holes in aviation security that leaves us vulnerable to terrorism.
The bottom line is the FAA is living in the past. They focus on safety as they should, but ignore all threats that small planes might cause in terms of terrorism for New York.
The senator wants that assessment of New York airspace to be completed in the next 90 days.
On the city's Lower East Side today, there was a vocal push to keep one of the largest housing complexes affordable. Stuyvesant Town in Peter Cooper Village is on the market for $5 billion. Thousands of people are concerned that the sale could force them to move. Many of them gathered today in support of a city council bill to stall MetLife's sale of the East Side property. Tenants are concerned that a new owner will turn the middle-class enclave into luxury apartments for the rich.
Almost 300,000 homes and businesses in western New York are still without power tonight, 3 days after a freak October snowstorm buried the region. Looking more like a winter wonderland than autumn, Buffalo is still digging out from under 2 feet of snow. Crews from the Long Island Power Authority are there helping out in an area where Governor Pataki has declared